Surat Al-Qaari'ah, the Qur'anic chapter called Al-Qaari'ah. Al-Qaari'ah means strike. A strike, a great blow. Makkiyah, a Meccan surah. وهي 8 آيات. It consists of 8 verses. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. In the name of Allah. Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. Al-Qaari'ah, the great strike, the blow, the striking blow. Mubtada, that's a subject of a sentence. Mal Qaari'ah, what is that striking blow? Mubtada'un thanin wa khabaruhu. This question is the predicate for that subject. So, Al-Qaari'ah, Mal Qaari'ah. So the sentence, one sentence here, that's 2 verses. The first verse is a word that is the subject. The second verse is a question, which is the predicate of that subject. Mal Qaari'ah, what is that striking blow? So the sentence itself would be, the meaning is, yani, the striking blow. What is the striking blow? That's one sentence. Just Al-Qaari'ah is one word, and I'm translating it with more than one word though. والجملة خبر المبتدأ الأول وكان حقه ما هي. And so had it been said in standard Arabic, it would have been said Al-Qaari'ah ma hi, the striking blow, what is it? But instead of putting a pronoun, what is it? The word itself was reiterated. The striking blow. What is the striking blow? وَإِنَّمَا كُرِّرَ تَفْخِيمًا لِشَأْنِهَا. It was repeated to magnify its severity. وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا الْقَارِعَةُ. And what made you know what is the striking blow? O Muhammad, أي شيء أعلمك ما هي, meaning what thing made you know what it is? ومن أين علمت ذلك, and from where would you have known that? يوم يكون الناس كالفراش المبثوث. MashaAllah, there's a typo here. That should be a kasra right there, not a dhamma. The day when the people will be like released moths or butterflies. Farash. Farash is the same word for moth and butterfly in Arabic. So I think the translations out there are usually going to say moth. You notice the difference between a moth and a butterfly? There's some differences. Usually they say, which yani, is observable, they say butterfly usually is more colorful than a moth. Moths usually have dull color, some gray or brown or tan color, something like that. And butterflies, their wings, when they fold their wings stand up. And the moths, when they fold their wings, they slide their wings in. Like the butterflies, their wings will be vertical. The moths, their wings will be horizontal. And also the shape is a little bit different. And also the moths, they come out at night and the butterflies come out in the day. And they have, physically some difference in their face and their body, but same name in Arabic. يوم يكون الناس كالفراش المبثوث. The day when the people would be like released moths or butterflies. شبههم بالفراش في الكثرة والانتشار والضعف والذلة والتطاير إلى الداعي من كل جانب. In this verse, Allah compared the human beings to the moths or butterflies. I think moth here actually is better because of how the moths go to the fire. You know how the moth goes to the fire? So probably moth is better here. Allah Ta'ala likened the humans here to the moths because of their abundance, how many of them there are. On that day, all the people will come out, and they're spreading out, and their weakness, and they're being debased, and they're flocking towards the caller, the summoner. Min kulli janib. What's that summoner? Ad-da'i. We'll review, inshallah. It's mentioned in some surahs. I remembered that it's the angel, but let me review. Min kulli janib, from all directions they would be coming. Kama yatatayaru al-farashu ila an-nar, just like the moths fly to the fire. وَسُمِّيَ فَرَاشًا لِتَفَرُّشِهِ وَانْتِشَارِهِ. This creature, this moth in Arabic is called farash because of its spreading out. وَيَكُونُ الْجِبَالُ كَالْعِهْنِ الْمَنْفُوشِ. And the mountains will be like dyed wool, or dyed wool that is pulverized, dyed, yani colored, pulverized wool. وشبه الجبال بالعهن وهو الصوف وهو الصوف المصبغ ألوانا لأنها ألوان. Here Allah compared the mountains to the ihn, which is the dyed, meaning colored wool. Why? Because the mountains have various colors. Allah says in the Quran, وَمِنَ الْجِبَالِ جُدَدٌ بِيضٌ وَحُمْرٌ مُخْتَلِفٌ أَلْوَانُهَا. That the mountains, they are black and white and red and having various colors. So that's why they were likened to the dyed wool. That's the ihn. كالعهن المنفوش. And al-manfush is that it's pulverized. So why are the mountains likened to the pulverized? Pulverized means made into particles. Why are the mountains likened to pulverized dyed wool? وَبِالْمَنْفُوشِ مِنْهُ لِتَفَرُّقِ أَجْزَائِهَا. Because on Judgment Day, those mountains will disperse. You would see on Judgment Day the mountain, firm, strong, awesome mountain, and then it will blow away like a cloud. فَأَمَّا مَنْ ثَقُلَتْ مَوَازِينُهُ. Now concerning whoever his scales were heavy, بِاتِّبَاعِهِمُ الْحَقِّ, heavy from their pursuing the truth. وَهِيَ جَمْعُ مَوْزُونَ. And mawazin here is the plural of mawzun. The mawzun, وَهُوَ الْعَمَلُ الَّذِي لَهُ وَزْنٌ وَخَطَرٌ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ. The mawzun here is the deed that's weighed. The deed that's weighed. So mawzun means weighed. Weighed. The weighed thing. The thing that received the action of being weighed. So according to that, it means, as for whoever his weighed deeds are heavy. So those are the deeds that have weight and they have to Allah significance. Aw jam'u mizan, or mawazin is the plural of mizan, which is the scale itself. So according to that, it means, as for whoever his scales are heavy. وَثِقَلُهَا رُجْحَانُهَا. And the heaviness of those scales means they're coming down, not going up. فَهُوَ فِي عِيشَةٍ رَاضِيَةٍ. يعني, so that's in reference to the scales on Judgment Day. So, we have to believe in Al-Mizan, the scale of justice on Judgment Day, the balance, which is a huge scale on which the deeds will be weighed. It has a pole, a vertical pole, and it has going across it a horizontal beam, and it has two pans. All of those have names, by the way. I still haven't made it my business to memorize the names of the parts of a balance, which would be befitting when talking about this part of the Aqidah, believing in the scales. So that's literal scale. That's not figurative. فَهُوَ فِي عِيشَةٍ رَاضِيَةٍ. Then this one whose weighed deeds are heavy, or his balance of good deeds, his pan of good deeds is weighty and goes down. فَهُوَ فِي عِيشَةٍ رَاضِيَةٍ. Then he is in accepting living. ذات رضا. يعني, a living that has acceptance. أو مرضية. Or accepting means accepted. So he's in an accepted living. Yani, he's satisfied. He shall have a satisfying lifestyle in the garden. وَأَمَّا مَنْ خَفَّتْ مَوَازِينُهُ. And concerning whomever his scales were light, or his weighed deeds were light, بِاتِّبَاعِهِمُ الْبَاطِلِ. Because such people pursued falsehood. فَأُمُّهُ هَاوِيَةٌ. Then, if I translate literally, his mother, فَمَسْكَنُهُ وَمَأْوَاهُ, meaning what he resorts to, where he shall resort to, where he shall be. His resort, where he shall be, and what he shall go to is an abyss. That means a deep pit. An-nar, meaning hell. وَقِيلَ لِلْمَأْوَى أُمٌّ عَلَى التَّشْبِيهِ. Calling this resort, this abyss, this deep pit, a mother, is a figure of speech. لأن الأم مأوى الولد ومفزعه. Because the mother is the one that the child runs to. and resorts to. So who is he going to resort to? This one whose scales are light, meaning it was his bad deeds that were preponderant. The pan of the bad deeds went down and the pan for the good deeds goes up. His resort is going to be an abyss, which is the pit of hell. وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا هِيَ. And what made you know what that is? الضمير يعود إلى هاوية. That is the abyss. What would make you know what that is? Here, the abyss. والهاء للسكت. But this ha here is called هاء السكت, the ha of pausing or stopping. You say that ha when you want to preserve the vowel here. So without this ha, you would have just said وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا هِي. If you stop there, مَا هِي. What would make you know what it is, what that abyss is? So the pronoun is hiya, which means it here. I'm translating it as that though, but it. Hiya. But you know the rule in Arabic is that you stop on a sukun. When you stop on a sukun. So if you were to stop on the pronoun hiya, you'd just say he, and you don't say the sound. You would just say he. But when you want to preserve that last vowel there, and you want to stop also, you want to stop and you want to preserve that vowel, then you bring this letter, this ha sect. So then that enables you to say hiya. You have to pronounce the ha too. Hiya. وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا هِيَ. And that preserves the sound of these ayat, the endings of the verses. Al-Qaari'ah, mal-Qaari'ah, وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا-الْقَارِعَةُ يَوْمَ تَكُونُ الْجِبَالُ يَوْمَ يَكُونُ النَّاسُ كَالْفَرَاشِ الْمَبْثُوثِ وَتَكُونُ الْجِبَالُ كَالْعِهْنِ الْمَنْفُوشِ. Here, فَأَمَّا مَنْ ثَقُلَتْ مَوَازِينُهُ فَهُوَ فِي عِيشَةٍ رَاضِيَةٍ وَأَمَّا مَنْ خَفَّتْ مَوَازِينُهُ فَأُمُّهُ هَاوِيَةٌ وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا هِيَ. So it preserves the sound of the end of the verses. What would make you know what it is? What is that abyss? So the very next ayah explains. ثُمَّ فَسَّرَهَا فَقَالَ نَارٌ حَامِيَةٌ. A fervid fire. That means very hot. بَلَغَتِ النِّهَايَةَ فِي الْحَرَارَةِ. An ultimately hot fire. A fire that has reached the ultimate degree of heat. Wallahu a'lam. And Allah knows best. You said at the beginning I said 8 verses, but I have 11. Let me see something here. Okay. So here, I'm looking in the footnote of my own copy that's in my hand right now. It says here, according to one manuscript, it says, Surat Al-Qaari'ah, 10 ayat, Makkiyah. Surat Al-Qaari'ah is 10 verses, and it's a Meccan surah. And according to another manuscript, Surat Al-Qaari'ah, Makkiyah, وهي 8 ayat. Surah Al-Qaari is a Meccan surah, and it consists of 8 verses. And then in another manuscript it says, Surah Al-Qaari Makkiyah wa hiya 10 ayat. Surah Al-Qaari is a Meccan surah, and it is 10 verses. And then the one who typed up the copy that I'm holding in my hand, he says, وقد اعتمدنا عدد الآيات المتفق عليه في مصحف المدينة النبوية المتداول في العالم الإسلامي اليوم. This one says, we have relied on the number of verses that are agreed upon in the Mus'haf of Medina, the one that is circulated throughout all of the Islamic world today. So, looks like the one who published this copy that I have in my hand, which is my copy that I took, that I read when we read on the Shaykh, he put وَهِيَ أَحَدَ عَشَرَ آيَةٍ, it's 11 ayat, as if he put that from his own self. Because in his footnote, he didn't cite any manuscript that says 11 ayat. But he cited several manuscripts. Some said 8, some said 10, but he put 11 and said, I'm relying on what's in all those mushafs. So what's written here, 8 ayat, is according to whatever manuscript the one who typed up this copy relied upon. And thank you for that question, very beneficial. MashaAllah. So that, you know how those things go sometimes. And look how, in this copy that I have here in my hand, he said 11, and he didn't attribute it to any manuscript. So we're going to say he perverted the Tafsir of An-Nasafiyy. I'm not going to say he perverted the Tafsir of An-Nasafiyy by doing that, but some people would. Some people who don't understand how things go. I recently came across someone like this because he didn't like the way the Jam'iyyah published something. So he was accusing the Jam'iyyah without really having a big idea of how these things go. And I kept telling him, you don't know really. You have a very small idea of what they do with these books. So what are you going to do when you're dealing with a person who has a small idea of things and he fills the gaps of his ignorance with assumption and he's motivated by hatred? You're not going to maybe convince somebody like that. You said, can you explain what is meant by Allah swears? Yes. Swearing has a function in the language. So Allah revealed this revelation in created Arabic language, which is miraculous in its composition. According to the speech of the ancient Arabs. So it's revealed according to the speech of the ancient Arabs. So all the elements of speech that are here, such as swearing, that's like one aspect of speech. So many, like speech has questions in there. Aren't there questions in the Quran? There are, although Allah knows everything because Allah is the speaker. Mal qari'ah. What is the qari'ah? وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا الْقَارِعَةُ. What would make you know what's the qari'ah, O Muhammad? But Allah knows everything, but He asks a question. That's an aspect of language, asking, swearing, and other things that are in the Quran. Statements of astonishment. قُتِلَ الْإِنسَانُ مَا أَكْفَرَهُ. Damned is the disbelieving human. How blasphemous he is. That's astonishment. Linguistically, but Allah is not astonished. So all these things all these aspects of the language, they have purpose. They have function. So the function of the swear is to establish the truthfulness of something. If you wanted to swear, or someone wanted to swear, why is he doing that? Because he wants to guarantee for you that he's telling the truth. He says, I swear, wallahi. So Allah swears in the Qur'an. And that's the function of swearing. So you're asking about what we read in Surat Al-Adiyat. He swore by those galloping horses that pant and they ignite sparks as their hooves strike, and they invade in the morning, raising up the dust as they circle a group of the enemy. Allah swore by them. Then what's being sworn about? So you have a swear. Whenever you have a swear, there's also something being sworn about. Because if somebody just came in and said, Sister Medina, I swear, and then he didn't tell you what he's swearing about, he just said, I swear, and then he just stopped. So then you'll be waiting. Yani, what? What's going on? What are you swearing for? What are you swearing about? I swear I'll never talk to that person again, for example. Whatever the person's swearing about. So here, in this particular surah, Allah swears that the human being is indeed ungrateful to his Lord. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك